Hello, it's Jon Binnie here. I am your spiritual and psychic mentor living here in Scotland. And welcome to my video where we provide a range of predictions, connect with my spirit guides, my higher self, Mother Gaia, and the source of love of this universe, together with two archangels that I work with. And I also do a lot of work with the Galactic Federation. And to explain a little bit about myself, first of all, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, thank you. Thank you to all my new subscribers that are joining. Please do say hello. I love it when you say, hi, I'm here first time. And feel free to check out all of my different content. I do daily meditation messages. So this is what I receive from my personal meditations each morning. And then I also create a song most days, and that's inspired from those meditation messages. So this is a message for the highest good, love and compassion of all. And I also provide a whole range of other stuff. So you'll see me doing walking and talking videos. I also do these prediction videos, podcasts, and a wide range of other stuff. So feel free to explore my homepage. I've been updating that on YouTube to make it even easier. And I also provide one-to-one sessions for quantum psychic readings, clearings, healings, predictions for people. And so you can check out jonbinnie.com and check out all my services. I also provide free meditations that you'll see I quite regularly refer to help you get started of working with me and help you learn how to do a lot of this work yourself. And there's also freely available public fifth dimension ascension classes every couple of weeks. So keep an eye out for that. Just take a look at the live page. I also do a live stream Mondays and Thursdays. Okay, so that's introduction. And to explain a little bit about my background as well, although I've been doing this psychic work for about the last 7 years, excuse me, for the last 7 years, and speaking to my spirit guides for about 7 years, almost 8, the previous life I had in this life as Jon Binnie, was 26 years in software engineering and computing. Later, it was 8 years at Amazon in AI, developing AI for people-related systems and really helping bring in the ethical side of the future of AI. So that was a lot of fun, but my heart wasn't really in it for the long term. And I'm so happy to be here to be able to help you support the harmonization of our darkness and light within all of us, and also help raise your vibrations and support you on your awakening journeys. Okay, so we're going to go through, we have questions, which I'm going to leave to the end today. I have a couple of pages of questions, so I'll be getting answers for those. And what I'm going to do is just work my way up through the layers of the onion, just like Shrek would say. So if he spoke like that. From the very core of Mother Earth and the soul of Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, up through the layers to give you predictions for the next 3 months. And so that takes us into the 18th of October, as it is the 18th of July today. So let us begin. First of all, we're just going to create a safe space. And this is to also help you open up your heart a bit more to receive these messages and to help you discern what this means for you and your loved ones, your friends and family, your fellow humans. Okay, so let's take a deep breath in through the nose and breathe out what no longer serves, your highest good, nice and loud. And once more, breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out any fear, shame, anxiety, or pain, nice and loud. And continue to breathe deeply and calmly. You may also choose to shake your hands a bit, move your body, and just shake off any of that energy that doesn't serve you. Maybe stamp your feet a bit and just imagine that energy just flowing down into the earth and asking Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, to transmute that energy for the highest good of all. Okay, and from the center of your heart, please imagine there's a golden light, a golden spark in the center of your heart. And from there, extend a cord of light up through the top of your head and reach up through into space, all the way up to the highest frequency of the universe you can imagine. And there, connecting your light cord into the highest dimension of source. Remain connected into source, and now from the center of your heart, extend a cord of light downwards through the base of your spine and deep into the earth. Go all the way down through the crust and down through the mantle, all the way down through the layers, the very core, and there connecting your light cord into Mother Earth, Mother Gaia's crystalline heart, her fifth dimensional heart. And just bring awareness also to her third, fourth, fifth dimension aspects to this planet. Third dimension being the physical, fourth being energy, and fifth being a combination of these. Okay? We send so much love and gratitude to Mother Gaia at this time, and just allow her to send her love back to you. Bring your attention back up to the center of your heart and just surround yourself now with a golden protective bubble using the light of your own heart, of Source above and Gaia below, and surround yourself in a golden protective bubble about 2 meters out from the center of your heart. And set the intention that only energies and entities with your permission, your highest good, love and compassion can see you, access you, or exist within this space or within you. All other energies and entities must leave immediately. Invite in your guides, your spirit guides, your ancestors, your higher self, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia. And we ask at this time for their assistance with guidance, clearing, healing, protection, and the predictions that we'll be making today, along with the integration of these. So what does that feel like to you in your heart? And what will it do with your reality? What will you decide to do with your own free will based on these feelings, emotions, and information? And I also create a protective space around all of us at this time. And I set the intention that only energies and entities with all of our highest good, love and compassion can see us, access us, or exist within this space today. All other energies and entities must leave immediately. Perfect. And I set the intention. We're here to offer predictions for the next 3 months. So we're 18th of July. That takes us through to the 18th of October. And people have asked questions beyond that, and there will be some references beyond these timeframes. So really this is to help set the intention, to get clarity when we're asking questions. What is the scope of the answer that we get? And I'm going to start now and come down to Mother Gaia's heart. So just starting at the very core of the planet. And I'm asking this question to the third, fourth, and fifth dimensions of Mother Earth's soul, Mother Gaia, and asking what lies ahead for us now and over the next 3 months, please. So Gaia is now showing me changes. She's showing me a continued change within her core. And it's quite funny when I connected in with the core of the different dimensions. I think in the past I've just focused on one dimension of Earth. Gaia said, John, you could do an entire video about each of these different dimensions of planet Earth and how they are behaving. And many of you have been asking about what is a dimension and how do these exist. And I feel that it's best explaining these as we work through the practical examples. So the first thing I saw is the core, the inner and outer core, and the outer core in particular of planet Earth starting to increase in frequency. So there's an increase of activity. And this is a connection with the sun and the earth. So as I can't make my hand big enough to scale, right, for the sun, but for the sun, the sun's heart is open, and there's very much, as one of you had commented on my community page on YouTube, you'd said the heart and the sun's energy feels much more feminine now, and it's true. It's because the sun's opening up to be able to step into its full potential, its full superpowers, and receive so much of this galactic energy flowing through the universe at this time to help support our own ascensions, our own upgrades, and our increasing in frequency. And another way of describing this is an increase in our joy and happiness. Okay. And this dynamo effect, this spinning effect around the outer core, is causing an acceleration in the events that we see across the world at this time. So there's, just as our hearts are the most dominant, huge toroidal field around our hearts, generated by our hearts. And this is the same for Mother Gaia. The most dominant energy from her is created from the very center of the earth. So this is important to understand, that the activity there is just as important as it's a response to what's going on with the sun. And for everything I say through this video today, please know that it is my knowing that everything has sentience. So everything has consciousness. The sun is alive and conscious. The earth is alive and conscious. The sun is aware, fully aware, brutally aware of all of us humans and living things on the planet. And so is Mother Gaia. And that they are related, that the sun and the earth are related. They are parent and child. So they are sun as parent and earth as child. And if you want me to explain more about that in another video, just let me know, because I have some very personal, deep experiences about that and about the creation of the earth. Okay, so really what we're seeing now is a continued shift and acceleration of Gaia and our heart. And so this is happening at the inner core, and it's causing these response that we're seeing outside. So it's coming up, this energy rising up from our hearts, up, out across the planet, up to the surface, and affecting all of us. And it's not just negative, right? There's a lot of positive energy coming up as well. And Gaia says she's showing me now sparks. So these are, previously in previous videos, we heard about emotions rising up and bubbling up to the surface. There's already been a shift now, on the 18th of July, there's been a shift more towards the electromagnetic, and I see it as lightning flashing around the inside of her outer core. And she says this is Gaia's heart activation, and it's very much a preparation for the creation of this new world. So supporting the third dimension, fourth and fifth dimensional Earths. So we heard already that Earth is already in third, fourth, and fifth dimensions. So I often see them as 3 layers of Earth stacked upon each other, and they're different frequency ranges. And the happier you are, and the choices you make about your emotions, and the choices that we all have of which of these 3 Earths you want to be on, dictate where you will be at any given time. And at the moment, these 3 dimensions, third, fourth, and fifth dimensional Earths, are overlapping. So what's happening is we're starting to see the very early signs of Mother Gaia considering the full split between these different worlds. So at the moment, if I'm feeling really happy and high vibration and joyous, and you're feeling, maybe you're watching this video not feeling so happy, maybe you're feeling in fear and low vibration, then at the moment we're still able to overlap. We're overlapping in the same, let's say, third and fourth dimensions together, because the bubble around me is supported, this high vibration bubble is supported in a vibration bubble around you. And if you choose, you can continue to, we'll come on to this later, the things you can do to help raise your vibration up. And if you choose these higher vibrations, these higher, emotions of joy, happiness, gratitude, unconditional love, compassion. There's just these upper ranges, these upper frequencies of emotions. If you choose these in your life, then you're also choosing this new world. I feel it's also a conscious decision for each of us to make. And it's all at different times. Each of us have our own journeys. Each of us have our own experiences to follow. And I did just do this week, I've shared, if you go to the live section on my YouTube page, you'll also see the fifth dimensional class, which takes us through a lot of deep diving into, this week's was all about deeper connections into Mother Earth and deeper connections into Source above. And these are really the building blocks to helping you choose and co-create this higher vibration Earth. I'm just going to ask a bit more detail about what happens with the core of the planet and its effects. Guy is describing it. She's saying to me, spinning up, John, we're spinning up. We're spinning up this new world. So higher vibration Earths require higher vibration frequencies. So it requires her heart to spin at a faster rate, which is lovely to see. It feels very energizing. She's showing me how it feels in her heart. And it feels a lot lighter. If you don't fully understand, which is totally understandable, if you haven't quite wrapped your head around these different dimensions yet, they are concepts that take, quite a bit of, it took me quite a long time, years in fact, to start to feel into what they mean for me in my day-to-day reality. If you have any specific questions, please do ask, and I'll follow up with those. But if you suspend belief for a moment that there are not different dimensions, then Gaia is saying that imagine as her heart accelerates in frequency, it's causing this purging. So purging of all the lower vibrations. And imagine if Mother Gaia was a little child, right? A little human child. And she was just always really happy, right? And she was always doing things. She was always running around and playing with her favorite toys, doing her favorite things, running around in nature. And if you said, okay, I want you to go and do this task, maybe it's to clean out a toilet. I want you to go and clean out this toilet. And she'd be like, I don't want to do that. That's horrible. It's like, well, you've got to do it first thing every day. And like, I really don't want to do that. And so what would happen is her feelings towards this lower vibration activity, she would start to refuse to do, right? She'd say, look, I choose this happiness and this joy. I'm doing that most of my day. The other things just need to stop. And so in that case, the toilet cleaning would just disappear. And this is what's happening. But at a global scale, what we're starting to see now is, I've been using the term more, purge. It's a releasing, a shaking up initially, and then a releasing through the next 3 months in particular. And I'm just going to ask if there's any phasing. I'm trying to get a bit more specifics from Gaia about, does she have any intention about the phasing through July, August, September, and into October? And she's just saying it is a quickening of her heart pace and frequency, a raising up in the vibration. And she says, okay, yeah, I'm sure we've heard this before, up into the end of July, so that's not long, right? We're starting to see some of this acceleration of her energy starting to cause more purging. And I'm just being shown glimpses of volcanic activity. August feels very active across Earth. And then starting to go through a quieter time and then a ramp up again. And we did see, she's given me, if you know me, my memory's not amazing, right? Which maybe makes me great for this work. I don't know. Because we did see a ramp up through some areas through towards the last 3 months and then into January next year, an escalation of activity. So what I'm seeing is this increase through August and then starting to dip down in September, then coming back up for the remaining months in the year. So this is just the current wave. So if you want to get really crisp about predictions in general, predictions, is that we all have an influence on this. We all of our individual free will, all of our interactions with the earth, with each other, with the sun, we're all equal beings, including the sun, the earth, and ourselves. So when we decide something, when we feel something, that changes the course of action. So what you're hearing a lot of is Gaia's intention and her feelings about what's likely to happen. This is not her only rodeo, right? And she has been through, some people will refer to it as golden ages of previous civilizations. And in fact, Gaia, the planet, has been at higher frequencies before than we are right now. But they come and go. And there's very much this period now over the next 3 to 5 years in particular, where we're going through this intense shift, this vibrational raising up. So the opportunity for us to raise up in our vibrations into higher love and joy and purge out all the other stuff. So accepting that with all the things that we love to do and the people we love to do it with, the other side of that, to make way for the old and in with the new, is to purge out the old things that don't serve our highest good. Okay, and let me ask a bit about what's going on in the mantle, the layers of the mantle, and up to the crust. A little bit about the surface. So Gaia is saying some of this will come out in the answers, and she's showing me, this is the first time I've seen targeted activity. This is because, so from Gaia's outer core, she's showing me bolts of electricity. So these are huge, electromagnetic energy pulsing up from the center of her heart, from the outer core. And as this rises up to the earth, up to the surface, I'm seeing that that she is consciously targeting specific areas. So imagine that you're about to go and maybe have your dream photo shoot, and you're walking into the room where the photographer is, and you're looking at yourself, and you've got some wee, beasties on you, some little insects and things or mud that you don't want on there, and so you're just shaking it, you're brushing it off yourself. It's like that's not for my highest good. I don't want it here. I'm here for my photo shoots. This is far more than cosmetic for Mother Earth, and she's targeting areas that have lower vibration activity. So these are, in particular, humans doing very negative things to each other. And we've heard a continued theme of slavery, so people doing humans and enslaving through a whole broad range of mechanisms, enslaving other humans. These places on the surface of the earth are being targeted, and below the earth are being targeted by Gaia. And let me ask about, can she give any specifics? She says the very first thing that she says, this is fairly new to her, and I've never seen this before. This is a new concept. I learned a little bit from the question and answers earlier in the week about the fact that Gaia can target streets, buildings, facilities, etc. I just didn't know how she did it. And she's showing me that with these, we'll call them electromagnetic bursts of energy, these lightning bolts, as they rise up from the core of the earth and make their way up to just below the surface into the crust, she's able to specifically pick out buildings, streets, facilities, underground and overground, and many of which we're not aware of. Some are in our countries and public places, others are across land, and others are in our oceans. And she's saying that, she says, look out for okay, this came up already. I keep being shown the same place. This is Washington, D.C. And yeah, we heard a bit about the Pentagon previously, underground facilities in the area. And Gaia said, she's not, she said, she's not an unfair mother, right? So that's a very polite way of saying, my personal opinion about Mother Gaia is she's incredibly tolerant, far more tolerant than I am in everything that she does. And what she's doing is she's giving warning signs. So for these spaces where she's targeting, first she was showing me like rattling and shaking up. So there's these initial bursts of activity. We might measure them as tremors, but they will also cause some electromagnetic disturbance. So power outages, internet connectivity, Wi-Fi challenges, and people feel it, and animals in particular will feel it even stronger. It will make them feel a bit nervous, and they feel like they want to act. And she says, she says, Gaia says, as far as your predictions are concerned, Jon, when she's busy through, she's saying August now. So I don't know if you'd have to tell me if that's changed since our last video, just a few days ago, but she's saying August now, she's shaking up some of these sites. There was just the second site she was showing me as well. This is underground near, I'm hearing Denver airport. I don't know the area personally. So she's saying that what she does is she goes in, and for a period of around 4 weeks, will issue these warnings. We'll say, look, there's something coming. This is unexpected activity. You did not expect this to happen. It's happening now. Something's building up. And she brings a slight increase in them. So she's very consciously showing an escalation in seismic activity. And then when she's had enough, and regardless of whether humans have left the place or not, then she will begin the purging, so the destruction of some of these places. And what she's saying is, Jon, that's hard to predict because she doesn't know how the humans in the area will respond. So if they're completely ignoring her, then she'll likely she might try a little bit longer and see. She might go longer than 4 weeks, so longer than past the end of August. If the humans there are showing some signs, so she feels energetically, all of us, and if we're showing in those areas a response to this, like, oh, this is serious, we need to do something about it, then she'll give grace as well, and she might even stop the seismic activity. For the other purpose of the shaking up is to help free people. So this is the purpose about, we're, as a human race, we're so electromagnetically focused on, our electricity for our, door access systems and, CCTV cameras and all this digital equipment. It doesn't just it's not just the power that she will disrupt, it's the electromagnetic field stopping many of these systems from working at all, even if they have power. So she's saying, as well as that and unlocking doors, this helps free people. So also expect to see some of that, if you're seeing people in these areas coming out of underground facilities, escaping facilities, then that's when you'll know that this is really happening, right? This is really, really real. And the guy is being successful in those areas. Okay, now she's just drawing my attention up a bit more. So just coming up to the surface. And I'd also like to bring in my earth elemental guide, Maya. I'm just going to drink a little bit of water. Hang on a second. It's very hot in here in Scotland. But what I saw was these areas around Japan. This is not new, right? We're seeing increased seismic activity already. We're seeing earthquakes. We saw the the 7 points. You need to correct me. Is it 7.2 or 7.4 off the coast of Alaska, and that happened during our live stream just on not last night, the night before, Wednesday night. So there's the Ring of Fire. There's definitely activity that continues, and again. So what has been consistent is Guy keeps showing me off the beaten track. So this is more towards the Japan side, that there is this activity that we're not used to. This is volcanic activity where it'll start to create landmass. And I'm just going to ask if there's any update to those timeframes. Her first response is, give me a break. I'm creating some new land. I'm creating a new country. But I'm just still persisting. So it takes time. It takes time to build land, especially to be able to reach the surface, and especially in some of these areas, because my geography is about as good as my geology, so it's not amazing. But I was shown very deep waters, so very deep down towards the Mariana Trench, and the activity's already underway. We're not all fully understand. We're not fully aware of all of what's going on at this time. So just be aware that some of this activity is more difficult to detect. I'm just being shown right now some of the internet cabling that runs through the area. So these are the international internet fiber optic lines that run these huge, big, thick cables that run for miles and miles and miles. That some of these there will be some disruption, and naturally that's how they're going to detect some of the challenges. Some countries, I saw China and Russia, have more awareness of what's going on in the area. They're ahead of what our geologists are aware of in the West. And yeah, this area up, so from Japan coming east a bit further and then up north is where this land will start to be created. And these series of, I'm being shown eight significant, we would know it as earthquakes, right? As these eruptions start to happen underwater. And she's showing me this condensed activity that happens this year. So it feels that 4 of those are happening through this year, and then they start to spread out through next year. So the remaining 4 begin to slow down. Gaia says she's watching. She doesn't, a bit like our own bodies, we don't have, absolute full control. We have a power of intention, power of consciousness, and some things that we start in our bodies, we don't always know on which days and which dates that's going to have an effect. So there's this, depending on the first eruption, for example, will have an effect on the timing of the second, and so on. And between them, Gaia is trying her very best. She's consciously looking up to see what's happening, how people are reacting, what people are doing, and trying to make this journey for all of us as safe as possible. And then she's also showing, so I'm going to come to some questions about the west coast of the US. That's how some of ours start. But yeah, there's definitely activity there. Some of you have been asking about that. And that it's linked. It's a mirroring effect. What happens on one side is also having an effect on the other side of the Pacific. Okay. Guy is saying, over to you. She's talking to Maya, my spirit guide. And Maya's got this lovely message for me and for us, which is, let's all bring awareness now to the consciousness of Earth. If you felt that Earth was alive, if you feel that our planet is a living being, then also feel in your heart how you're treating that being. How are you treating Mother Earth? Now, I'm not perfect, right? And I don't live in some tree or on the top of a mountain and float down to the earth and do all this work and just are so perfect all the time for everybody. I'm human. I have my my bad habits, my good habits, and everything in between. And it's important to acknowledge these, right? And this is not, Gaia is not asking for us to just, to transform as a human race overnight, but she is helping force an acceleration of us. And that, in particular, the acceleration of the purge. So my guide, Maya, says, first of all, just focus, if you can, through the next couple of months, so July, August, and especially as this activity steps up, that we will start to see through August, through the end of August, other humans becoming aware of the potential consciousness of Earth. And this is because the patterns that start to see in particular volcanic and seismic activity is oddly specific. It's too much of a coincidence to just be in isolation. And for example, why would an earthquake or seismic activity target a building? How would that happen? And many humans will jump to the conclusion, and there will be fear propaganda that this is war. This is a battle between countries. But there are more than just us humans in this whole world. There's all the animals. There's all the beings that we can't see, at least with these two eyes. We can see them with our third eye. And there's, our sun, our earth. There's all the elementals. So I did a video this week on a lot of detail on the elementals and how they work as a team for Gaia on below the surface, above the surface, in the air, water, land, fire, electricity. And there's also, our sun and our solar system and our galactic brothers and sisters, our extraterrestrial, our non-human friends, our family outside of this world. So all of these things are having an effect. So this is a prediction from my guide, Maya, that we'll see this evolutionary step in Earthlings will be saying, okay, maybe our mother is alive. Maybe planet Earth has consciousness. And maybe what we're seeing is her acting out some of this. And it's really powerful. And I'm just being drawn now to winds. And this is one of the earlier questions we had from the last Q&A, seeing some of the tornadoes later than expected in the year. And I keep being shown specifically, and these are high wind speeds, right? 300 miles per hour plus. So they're really fast and very intense. They're also, more of an update is they feel shorter lived. And this is another theme of targeting. Okay, fabulous. Thank you. I'm just getting a few glimpses of some of the questions that I've had as well. I'll come on to the questions in just a moment. So let's also take a moment and go up to what's happening in our skies and also in our upper atmosphere. So this is a message from my mantis guide, Marita. And she's not of Earth. She's explaining that keep your eyes on the skies and on the clouds in particular. She says our hearts, our consciousness, but another way of describing it is our hearts, because our hearts generate the emotion on behalf of our consciousness. Our hearts are generating the activity you're seeing in the sky. And the activity you're seeing in the sky is starting to look for and experience more unusual, magical, and very mysterious phenomena. And I was shown some of these clouds I've seen just today, in fact, just this morning, UAP shaped clouds that are the shape of a dragon, clouds that are huge galactic ships. All of these experiences, so my mantis guide Marita's looking down at Earth and showing me, so she's on board a Galactic Federation ship looking down at Earth, and she's saying, this is what it looks like from above, is that when you see people's hearts opening up, and all of this activity that we're experiencing just now, that can feel very fearful, it is absolutely to support our highest good. And it is to support our ascension. It's just that we have to experience the tough love at the same time, the purging, the destruction at the same time. And as we rise up and as we open our hearts, all those magical, joyful experiences, many of which you used to do when you were a child, and this is something you can do. My mantis guide is saying, in particular, look out in September in particular, because this is just after we're seeing an increase in Gaia's heart, and her targeting activity through August into September is a beautiful time to keep your eyes on the skies, especially in the western, northern hemisphere, when we're starting to see these, the nights get a bit earlier, and we're starting to see more stars at night, especially in Scotland. We're not really getting stars yet through the summer because we're too far north. You'll start to see a lot more magic in the skies, and know that this is also a reflection. It's a response from your heart. So when she's looking down from above planet Earth onto the Earth, she can see that this is what we're manifesting. We're attracting in and making much more visible our friends and family from across different dimensions and from different areas of the universe. So this is really beautiful. Embrace it. Keep your eyes in the skies. Tell your friends, at very least, what you see. What's the shape? Ask them, what do you see? I feel that's a dragon. I feel that's a ship. I feel that's a flying saucer. And have fun with it, right? Take photos of it, share it with other people. This feedback mechanism is you're saying to the reality around you and planet Earth, you're saying, these exciting new things I'm experiencing are joyful. And so thank you. I love them. Let's keep going with them. Okay. A bit more water. Clunk. Okay. And then let me ask a bit more about the sun and what's going on in our solar system. Okay, this is a phenomena that's new to me, right? Guy is saying that as her heart quickens, as her heart frequency begins to pick up pace and it starts to spin faster, she's also showing that it puts pressure on the orbits with the other planets going around the sun. Imagine that the sun is a parent and then all of the planets are the children. And in this family of our solar system, what's happening is that the more one child accelerates and has more fun, is running around and being more joyful, it has an effect on the other planets. And the other planets are feeling a bit of a squeeze as a result. So this is just to understand some of the behaviors we might start to see in other planets, because it's easy to look out at, as a human, I find it much easier to look outside and look at the reality around me and assume that something else outside of me and outside of my planet is affecting all the other things. So it's tempting to be able to look at the seismic activity, for example, on other planets and then say, oh, there's something that's going on outside that's affecting everything the same way, when actually a lot of this now, in particular through the next 3 months, is being triggered by and caused by a lot of Gaia's own heart activity. And another way of describing this is that, you know, when one of your family members is full of joy and is starting to get excited about the future, maybe they've got a vacation coming up and they're running around going, oh, I'm so excited for my vacation. In this case, so excited for my ascension. It has an effect on all the hearts of the other planets. So they're getting excited too. They're like, this is great. You know, this feels good. Well, let's do this. And for the sun, okay, yeah, this continued opening. So and I do is I breathe in, allowing my heart to open up. And so there's this big, beautiful receiving action continuing on the sun. And there will be, so I'm being shown pulses. Now, I'm not a geophysicist, right? What we may perceive as visually as the solar flares, they're being pushed out by pulses coming from the sun. I'm really just feeling that just now. There's like pulse. And there's a constant conversation going on. We've heard before about the umbilical cord, the connection, the heart-to-heart connection between the sun and the earth. What's also happening is there's this conversation between the sun, which is the Ra energy is saying to Earth, Gaia's soul, are you ready for another? And there's either a yes or a no. This is not just, you're going to get all these blasts and that's it. There's a constant discussion. So we're part of this as well. We're part of that discussion. So if you're feeling overwhelmed in any moment, you can also ask the sun. You can say, sun, this is a lot. This is a lot right now. It may be too much. Can we have a break? Can I have a break for the next 24 hours, 48 hours, a week? You know, just ask, right? It takes a lot of us to ask and to set that intention for the sun to react. What we can also do individually, and this is a practice I do often quite regularly, at least once, twice a month, I'll place my hand on my heart and I'll say out loud, spirit guides, please give me a 24-hour break from these ascension waves, these solar pulses of energy. And as you say this, I feel like I'm talking to Alexa or Siri, apologies for triggering your devices, or some other voice activated system, that this voice command sets the intention that you want a break. You know, you want to have a break between these big periods of activity to allow your body to rest. You know, the sun is not paying attention to every single one of us individually. Many of our guides, including mine, you know, none of them are human. And if they have been human in a previous life, it's not been for some time. So we're the humans on the ground. We're the ground troops experiencing this day in, day out. So you get to say, oh, that's too much, or that's okay, I can keep going. And also to just to make sure that you follow a self-care pattern. So I often do things like, I do, you know, long baths, walk in nature, standing on the ground, grass, mud, rocks, water, you know, releasing any negative energy, as we did earlier at the start, like, you know, shaking off deep into the earth. And, you know, asking for those breaks, but do develop. I did a whole video yesterday on self-care, walking through the woods and talking to fey beings, and I was asking trees and the fungi there as well about self-care. Like how do you guys do it? And do you have suggestions? So this is really important to explore and develop yourself, especially through August. And these pulses are new to me. If you've already understood this, then fantastic, let me know. But what I saw is the sun saying, I'm ready, and Gaia will say, okay, I'm ready too, and then this pulse of energy coming out. And it's very short-lived. It feels, I'm just asking the time frame, how long does the pulse go for? oh, okay. They're saying, well, um, in space, in astrophysics time, it's a really short burst, but it's just for a few hours. The energy will be released. Some of it manifests visually. Some of this we can measure. Some of it will even turn up as Schumann resonance, but it's not all of it. We can't detect all of this with our modern science yet, but you'll feel it in your heart. Your heart's far more, it's been around for much longer than our modern science, right? Your heart will feel it in particular. And some of us will feel the crown pressure and the third eye pressure. And this because the energy is coming in from above and down into us and wants to find a way downwards. So I saw 6 pulses coming into the last few days of July, and then they're between 1 and 2 a week with some gaps, so it's not a regular pattern, and this continues into, as we heard, like tailing off a bit in September. So as we do these videos, I'm sure I'll start to gain a better understanding of this cause and effect, because there's definitely there's linkage between all of these. There's a constant discussion, and it's teamwork, right, between the sun and the earth, doing all this to help raise vibrations and also to purge, to rattle off, destroy, and release anything that doesn't serve our highest good. Okay, and anything from our galactic brothers and sisters, asking the Galactic Federation and their representatives within my spirit team. Okay, so my Lyran guide is a galactic lion being from the Lyra constellation. So, first of all, he's saying the Galactic Federation are very active right now, and they're very active and they're paying a lot of attention to what's going on in detail. So what's going on in the center of people's hearts, how people are behaving. We heard in the other video about, in my recent video about angels. So these are, earth angels, people, normal people like you and I, if we're normal, the new normal, that were placed in strategic places around the world to help others. And so you'll know these moments when they come to you, when you're thinking, I can do that. That's one of my superpowers. I can help that person. So do feel free to explore those experiences with others when the time feels right. And you'll know when to help them. Some of this is fight or flight. And I was also shown that was more the response in the last video. We're also hearing the Galactic Federation are interested in us also building longer term, strong friendships, connections with people, partnerships that help us, become more durable. And these are as local communities, but also communities across, we have spans, these threads that connect us across the world, both energetically and with with our technologies as well. Okay. And my Lyran guide says, please, Jon, please share with your audience that these are great times of change on Earth. This accelerated nature of these changes won't last forever. So this is temporary. It all depends. How long it lasts and how difficult it is all depends on us, on you and I. So we're talking about us humans, and how open our hearts are. And this is because a closed heart can't receive these higher vibrations. So this concept of high vibration, the source, the creative source of this universe, sending out these very broad frequency waves that support ascension, they support upgrades, they support us changing our DNA, remembering our superpowers, triggering our souls to get us to wake up and open our hearts again and go through multiple awakenings, and the purging, always the purging, looking at our lives and the things that we're ready to get rid of and ready to release. and the decluttering in our homes, decluttering in our lives, and simplification, all these processes are dictating how this world will smoothly or not, or in between, how smoothly we will traverse these changes. So when we look at how Gaia is behaving and how much purging is going on, know that this is also this is a reflection of all of us, you and I. So even if I'm seeing something, maybe I'm hearing reports of, maybe one of you are telling me in a comment about some weather or seismic activity or even galactic or sun activity that's happening, that's affecting you, your loved ones, your area. This is not separate to me. I might be in Scotland over on the East Coast, but we're all on the same planet. We're all in this together. And our hearts, the more our hearts are open, the more we're able to receive a lot of this more smoothly and also purge more smoothly, just gently release. So another way of describing this is, my Lyran guide Emin Shal says, it's the friction, right? So let's imagine my fist is the ascension wave and this is your heart. If your heart is closed, it's just a constant like, come on, John, open up your heart. I want to receive this energy. And if you open your heart, a nice, open, happy, loving heart, the energy can easily flow in. Now, if you're gripping onto that and you're causing friction, it causes friction across this world. It is a lot to get our head around, and it's a lot of concepts for us to consider in detail about how all this works and how different it is and how unusual it is and mysterious it is to our current understanding of the world. In simple terms, the Galactic Federation's message is, please pay attention to your own heart, because it has a difference, a huge, significant effect on this whole world. And that's why such a huge part of my mission has always been to help raise people's vibrations, supporting the opening of your hearts. Even if you don't fully understand how you personally affect the seismic activity in the planet, volcanoes, storms, what happens in our sky, what happens across our world and across our solar system, and even expanding out and resonating out across the universe, know that your heart is just as powerful as the heart of Mother Earth. And so each of us have our responsibility and our free will choice. You get to choose whether you open up your heart or not. And so just before we traverse smoothly into the questions, I would like to just spend a few minutes doing a meditation with you to help you open your heart, because I feel it's so important to do so. Okay. So let us begin. We'll breathe in through the nose, nice and deep. And breathe out what no longer serves our highest good, nice and loud. Reminding you of your connection that you've always had from birth, from the center of your heart up to the highest dimension of source above. And connecting from your heart deep down through the root of your spine and deep into the earth. Just getting some tickling on top of my head. Okay, and then from your heart now, allow your heart to have your full attention. Allow your heart to be visualized as a rose flower, beautiful red rose flower. And if you choose, you can turn that green as well to match the beautiful deep green of your heart chakra, the green of the earth, the green of nature. You're part of nature too. Imagine now that you're facing the sun and how it feels when you face the sun. A beautiful, warm, loving energy from the sun. Feel it against your eyelids, on the inside of your eyelids, across your whole body, across your skin. Not too much sun, not too much solar radiation, just the right amount for you. And as you're receiving this energy, allow yourself now to open up the base of your spine, your hands, your feet, the nerve endings, the reflexes across your hands and feet and the base of your spine, your root chakra. And as you're receiving the sun energy into, you're making way for that beautiful sun energy by releasing the old. So start to shake out now. Shake your hands, shake your feet, shake your toes, wiggle your bum, and release that energy, anything that doesn't serve you, deep into the earth. And we ask Mother Gaia to transmute that energy for the highest good, love, and compassion of all. And as you do this, just allow yourself to continue to flow in with this beautiful new sun, love, energy for your highest good. Allow it to heal, clear, cleanse, and activate you, all aspects of your human form and your energetic form. And continue to shake off and release anything that doesn't serve your highest good. And as you're shaking things off, there might be things in your life that you're connecting with. Maybe it's what you eat, what you drink, what you consume online or watching TV or movies, or the people in your life or the job you do, all these things. Whatever's coming up in your heart at this time, whenever you're doing this shaking motion and releasing, purging out of you, perhaps take a note of that in your heart. Because these are the things that you do need to tackle. You do need to let them go. And the good thing is, so many things require little or no effort. You just need to stop doing them. Easier said than done, but know that just as Mother Gaia shakes up this earth, so too can you shake up your life and make way, get rid of all those constraints, all those things, all those times you've been keeping yourself captive and a prisoner and constraining yourself by the very things that you put in place by yourself. Okay. And now for your heart as a rose, allow your heart to face the sun and to open up. Gently opening the petals of the rose of your heart, and receiving more and more sun energy as it feels right for you. And you can feel it now, that it's not just sunlight. There's a pulsing, there's a rhythm, a frequency, a heartbeat. It's this universal heartbeat of the largest star at the very center of our universe, the universal sun, the largest expression of the source of love of this universe. And it's pulsing these beautiful waves. They're wonderful across this beautiful rainbow of light spectrum, well above and below and beyond our visible light spectrum, containing upgrades, containing remembrances, codes, songs, colors, these frequencies and feelings. These are the waves of our hearts reflected back to us. They are the waves of our ancestors that have worked so hard and tirelessly to create this world that we exist in now. And as we begin to open our hearts more and more, we see that this is flowing through the center of our galaxy, our Milky Way, and through into the center of our sun, and from our sun into our hearts. And just allow that beautiful energy to flow through your body, clearing, healing, activating you, all at the right pace just for you. And you can receive as much as it feels right for you, encouraging you to really open up yourself to your full extent. Just let go of any of that fear. You're only inviting in what's for your highest good, so you take as much as you can for your highest good. Take as much joy as you're willing to experience. And then allow your body to calm for a moment. Perhaps you'll join me as we talk to our bodies. Place your left hand on your heart and say, "Body, I love you. Heart, I love you. I connect you deep into this earth with the roots through my feet. I connect you up through my heart, the top of my head, into the highest dimension of source above. I love you, heart. I love you, body." And then let's ask one question of our hearts and bodies. Heart, what can I do today to show you that I love you more and more each day? And just allow your heart to answer. Perhaps you'd like to thank your heart, to thank your body, to thank the sun and the earth. Thank you to all the souls across the universe, all the consciousness that have supported us in this meditation just now. We'll just bring this meditation to an end. Bring yourself back to your body, back to your breath, back to your movements. Maybe move around a bit, shake a bit, and just reconnect with your body again and with your breath. And perhaps, like me, have a little bit of water. Okay, thank you for that beautiful meditation. I hope it helps you. And as we go through these questions, I'll go through them quite quickly as we're already at 1 hour and 5 minutes. Please, in your conscious mind, wherever you can, I encourage you to bring your open heart that we've just experienced towards love, towards compassion, towards empathy and sympathy, and towards excitement about what's happening. It's not to deny the darkness. It's not to deny the death and destruction that we experience around us. It's more that let's see the full spectrum. Let's feel the full spectrum of dark and light and everything in between, and not deny any aspect. Okay, let's get on with the first question. And I'm just going to take a little note as I go, because I'd like to take a note of the times, because that'd be helpful for the chapters. Okay, so let's say we're now at 107 minutes. The first question is from Carol Johnson, Q7P. Sevens, and it's 107 in this video. That's so cool. I just constantly see sevens and sevens and sevens. So Cal says, what do guides see for Oregon? My daughter lives there. And you also say in a separate comment, you say, there is a volcano off the east coast of Oregon. Will it erupt soon? So there's just in general, and then about the volcano. Okay. Asking this question to Gaia, elementals in the area, and the sun, and all beings that have an effect on this. This is very interesting. So this is a message from the Galactic Federation. So this is through my, well, it's through two guides, my Lyran guide, Emin Shal, and my Mantis guide, Marita. They're showing me this protection. So it's a beam of light sent down from one of the ships that they have in our area. So it's one of the ships that's orbiting the Earth right now, and it's creating a protective bubble around the people. So from that, I'm seeing that there is an eruption coming. We got glimpses of that when we heard about what's going on the other side of the Pacific. Is there any time frames you can share? It's funny. My Lyran guide says, "Well, John, if there's protection around the people and the living things there, then why are you asking when the eruption happens?" Like, well, it is an ask. Will it erupt soon? Is the specific question, and the answer is yes. Okay, but it's within 4 months. And it's a period that there's precursors to this or dependencies to this. And this is the rate of the activity that we see over towards Japan is having an effect. It's a knock-on effect, if you like. Well, scientifically, we'd probably see that like this happened, then this happened. But Gaia is saying she wants the stuff to happen first over towards Japan and then out later towards the US. Okay. Thank you, Carol, for your question. Okay, and we're now at, let's say, 1 minute and 10. I'm always just slightly ahead to round up the numbers. So this is from Mrs. Barbarina Barra. Sorry, I can't say your name. Sorry, I'm just laughing at myself. I'm so bad at pronouncing names. Let's try again. So Mrs. Barbarina Barra 77 more sevens 65, and he said, I saw that on Hurricane Helena target, the sundown community. Was Gaia helping us reset? Yes. And when I saw that question before, it was a very loud yes. She's showing me within that community, and I must admit, I just don't know what that community is. But I saw this, there's deep, or have been deep threads of negative energy through human activity that is not visible to many. And it's not the fault of everyone, if you like. And not everyone is participating in it. But she's showing me chain linkages of people. So, one person doing something very negative towards another, and then so on, and it's almost laser focused. So this was to help to shake that up, and in particular to stop it continuing to expand, and holding space for everyone affected. Okay, and the next one is. What time are we at? Let's say 1:12. 1:12. So this is from Peter Thomas 2271. Will there be a military coup in the US? The answer is there will be. There's a few ways that it could pan out, right? That it could be understood by our media, portrayed by our medias, and including social media, and even understood in our history. So at its simplest form, there are factions within the military, both fighting for and generating their own funding. And I saw, some people might describe it as the dark, the operations with low vibration intention, or that are secret. And in particular, these are the operations, and I just like avoid using colors as wherever I can. These darker operations are perceived initially as a threat from other countries or extraterrestrial. When it's discovered, and so there's attacks that happen. These are part of a fake alien invasion. So, when you've built, when a superpower has built a superpowers, I'm talking about a country, when a superpower country has built a superpower military, to keep funding it, to keep expanding it, they need superpower sized problems. And this is why there's such, an increasing awareness into space as a potential threat. And so a fake alien invasion using very terrestrial, or it might have been extraterrestrial inspired, or even copies of, but they are controlled by humans. These fake attacks on and it's not just one country. You can probably guess since the questions around the US, a lot of this does happen around the US. But what happens is, the military realizes this is where the fraction is caused, when they realize actually this is us. And I was calling it red flag incorrectly in previous videos, and thank you for correcting me. So this false flag type activity, and it becomes more confrontational when they realize that they're not fighting an enemy off planets, they're fighting themselves. And a lot of that starts with the military. And I know a military coup would be more, the military stepping in and taking over what's happening, perhaps, in the White House. That my my Galactic Federation representative guide, Marita, the mantis being, she's saying that is entirely possible. But as we heard earlier, there's also, in the last video, there's also this prediction of health issues affecting that. So it doesn't feel that it's going to be the first experience of a coup-related activity. So thank you for your question, Peter. I hope that helps. The next one, and we're at, let's say, 116. The next one is, I could never remember my dreams. Yes, bits and pieces, very few times. Our world is about to change. America is heading to a huge financial crash. And I advise people to get their affairs in order. After the crash, our community will become a golden age promise. Will become the golden age promise. But we must go through bad times in order to move to a better way of life. And the difference between the Galactic Federation and what's the difference between the Galactic Federation and the Pleiadians was told we must use discernment because there are good off-worlders and bad off-worlders. Okay. And this is Judith Casio 2926. Thank you, Judith. I love your statement. It really resonates. The financial crash. I feel that at some point it's more that it's not a crash where, you know, within the current paradigm of our understanding about how the best financial system should work, that it crashes. It's more that we realize that they're fundamentally broken. And of course, financial systems rely on humans. They don't exist without humans, and they rely on us believing in them. I do feel it's good to get your affairs in order. And also, you know, I'm not saying prepare for a world where finance doesn't exist, because I do feel that at least for a while we'll have a form of money, but start to feel into some later questions about this, about what would you do if money didn't exist? Because it exists, you know, our civilizations existed for a long time before we came up, certainly with a modern concept of money. So feel into what would you do? You know, how would you help others? We all have our own unique superpowers. So specifically to your question about what's the difference between Galactic Federation and Pleiadians, okay, Pleiadians are beings from the Pleiades, okay? So that is one area of space. The Galactic Federation are a federation of beings from across the universe. So Pleiadians, and it can include Pleiadians, there's no restriction on who can join the Federation. And you might have some opinions about specific, I'm not going to name them, right? Because I have one as one of my guides, but you know, sometimes we choose to be pretty horrible to some specific extraterrestrial species. And I would really encourage people to avoid what is effectively, you know, galactic level racism, right? To instead say, okay, I don't care what form you take, what color of skin you have, whether you've got 3 legs or 4 heads or whatever it is as a galactic species. And my mantis guide is huge, and my elemental guide, Maya, is typically an energy that flows underneath the earth. And then she can also show herself in human form. There's all this huge, beautiful diversity across the universe. So with this as well, there's also to the question of discernment. Some are good, some are bad. True. In fact, this whole universe is a whole frequency spectrum. So dark to light and everything in between. You could argue that there are average frequency levels and average frequency ranges for different species. And, you know, sometimes do that with our pets. You know, you might say, oh, a papillon, like Patch down here, he's similar to a continental spaniel and has a lot of energy, and he's got a nice temperament. You know, there are frequency ranges for sure, but there's no real good and bad in this. And that's a big thing that the Galactic Federation do, is help, you know, break down the barriers between different galactic races from around the world and say, okay, sorry, around the universe, and say, okay, we're all in this together. We're all share the same universe together. Let's see how we can help each other for the greater good of all. And so, yes, practice discernment. And this includes the earlier question we heard of, my hands are going crazy, right? The earlier question of fake alien invasions. And I hate using the word alien, but that would be the term that would be propagated. Feel it with your heart. When you see those ships flying around, do you feel they're human? Ask your heart. Ask it a yes/no question. Say, heart, is that ship human, yes or no? Is it human-made, yes or no? Is it controlled by, is it piloted by humans, yes or no? If you ever experience a galactic being in person, or if you see some, digital portrayal of them, ask your heart the question, does this being have the highest good for me or for all in their hearts? You can also practice this practice on humans, pets, animals, everything across the universe. Okay, and we're at 121. Just take a note. So from my dear friend Nova Supernova, was asking a few questions about some of the darker aspects of the work that I do. So one of the offerings I offer is a negative entity and energy removal service, including soul fragment retrieval and also exorcisms. It's a smaller part of my work, but it's hugely important. And so she's asking about a little bit about that work. And she said, what is the purpose of darkness and what is the misconceptions about darkness? And I'd say really simply that darkness is dark like this. And so it is the absence of energy. It's the low end of the frequency range because there's no movement. There's no energy required to create the void of, the deepest darkness we have, of this infinite void that exists. Or the opposite is true for light. Light goes infinitely bright and just gets brighter and brighter because things can speed up. So you can create higher and higher frequencies. And this is a whole spectrum. You'll notice I'm wearing black and I have a white background and green to support. It always helps me remember Mother Gaia. This is a fake plant, by the way, just in case you're wondering, because there's no windows in this studio. So be aware that on that journey through our lives, we're encouraged to really experience the whole spectrum, dark to light and everything in between, and to remove these silos we put in place and say, oh, that's dark, oh, that's light. It's just one big spectrum. So the purpose of darkness, the yin and yang, is this balance, this harmony between everything, between lowest vibrations and the highest vibrations, the highest frequencies, the lowest frequencies, the highest frequencies. And the most common misconceptions are that dark is bad, right? That it's like, oh, that's bad. But it's literally like saying, if you're balancing like this and saying, well, this side is bad, one just falls over. Dark can't exist without light and vice versa. And that they are intertwined. They are a spectrum between, across the two. And those that propagate fear around the world are constantly trying to convince you that there's silos, that other people are different to you, other people are darker than you, and darker in lower vibration. They're out to get you, they're out to kill you. The reality is we're all out here to help each other and to help achieve balance. And often what's happening is when we're experiencing negative things towards each other, it's because we're teaching each other lessons, which just does not feel like that, right? And I am not inviting anything negative towards me at this time. I have enough. And you also asked about, so I mentioned a little bit about that line of work involved. So I do a lot of work with clients, helping remove entities that are trying to attach to them. This includes demonic entities. Negative entities are called, or more specifically, it's a being that has negative intentions. they're non-human, non-physical beings. I also do things such as go down to the lower levels of hell with a client to retrieve fragments of their soul and bring it back up and integrate it. And I also do work, as I mentioned, with exorcism, where there's often a demonic entity attached to someone and either attempting to partially or sometimes much more than partially influencing that person. I thank you for your question. And then let's also go on to, we're now at 1 to 6 minutes. The next question is from angelakeahunter. You're saying, what is the correlation, if any, between standing stones, Inca lines, and crop circles? You mentioned standing stones store wisdom. Okay. I'm just being shown, Mother Gaia and also my elemental guide are showing me that they are all connected, and ley lines are a great, way of seeing how these are connected, how the energy flows. The ley lines are these veins and meridians, the energy channels, and the chakra system as well of Mother Earth. All of this constant flow of energy is supported through things like standing stones and the Inca lines and crop circles. If we took one at a time, standing stones can be used for a broad range of things, everything ranging from power generation, so exposing energy, ley line energy up above Earth and to help work with people and animals, also for helping influence the ley lines themselves, communicate with other people around the world through the ley lines, through the stones connected into the ley lines, and also to help, if you watched one of my Orkney videos from last week, integrate new technology and wisdom into the Earth ley line and chakra system, including helping with the formation and some of the origins of the human race. And then the Inca lines, these are, I'm being shown that they help align the some of the ley lines in the area, and that they're also very attractive to I guess to describe it energetically, and this is more into the fourth dimension, they illuminate, because they're aligned with the ley lines of the area, they illuminate up into sky, so it's much easier for extraterrestrials to see what's happening down there and to come and take a look. It feels like when we light a fire on a beach or something and say, hey, look at me down here. It's not an SOS, but it's more like a friendly, hello, let's commune. And the frequency of the energy that goes through the ley lines is resonated out through the Inca lines. Crop circles, more of an ability to express and to share activation codes. These are ancient. So remember, you asked in your question, you mentioned standing stones store wisdom, so that wisdom that's impregnated into the earth and saturated through the earth with these ley lines can be manifested back out. This is what the standing stones are. This is what the crop circles are, is a manifestation of that ancient wisdom coming back up to the surface. I'd encourage you, for crop circles, do take a look at their imagery and just, connect into what they're trying to tell you. How does it feel in your heart? Everything that you perceive when you look at the image of a crop circle is helpful, right? In that, first of all, discern, does it serve your highest good? You can place your hand on your heart and say, heart, does this serve my highest good? And heart, is there anything that I'm to receive that will serve my highest good? This can include helping activate some of that hidden wisdom, that ancient secret wisdom that only you hold in your soul, and help it bring it back to the surface. This is what it's all about, supporting our ascension. Okay, and angelakeahunter also asked about why do people ET stop building pyramids? Can I remote view the Dark Pyramid in Alaska and its purpose? So let me take a look. And we're at 1:30. And I'm just rounding up the minutes because that's what I'll be doing in the chapters. So let's just ask. So the beings that built the pyramids are no longer as dominant here. There is still some presence in small pockets. I'm seeing a lot of influence from our humans and also galactic brothers and sisters. So it includes Lyrans, Arcturians, and Palladians, and there are other extraterrestrial beings. That's in part why they're not being built anymore. You can ask me perhaps in another. We have tons of questions to get through, but ask me in another a video if you like about the purpose of them. You asked if I can remote view. Yes, I feel it's something we can all do. In fact, all the things that you've seen me do today, I feel we can all do. The Dark Pyramid in Alaska, what's its purpose? So it's a real long story, but in short, previously the Dark Pyramid was part of some of the other formations of pyramids that we see, including in Egypt, but it's also been in other locations. So it has moved locations. The Dark Pyramid was, for instance, when it was part of the formation of the pyramids of Giza, for most of its time, it was an inverted pyramid. So it was upside down, and it went from the base of it was across the ground and then pointing down deep under earth. And its purpose was to help balance the darkness and light and the functions, especially the Stargate light functions of the pyramids. They do many things, but that's some of what I have past life memories of them doing. And so the Dark Pyramid was really there to help balance, to help bring grounding and deep connection. And that we heard earlier about why there's dark and light, to bring a broader frequency range to the whole plateau. So this is now that it's in Alaska. So there was a whole falling out about the Dark Pyramid, and there was attempts for those higher vibration beings to take it over from the lower vibration beings that looked after the Dark Pyramid, whereas really this should be a cohesion, a partnership between dark and light and everything in between. And its purpose in Alaska, it still has an effect in Alaska, but really this is a continued journey for us to discover, because there's secrets to be unlocked about some of what I've described, and also the purpose of the pyramids full stop, and then why it's there. So it does feel that in part it's moved there to be in hiding, but also be discovered in isolation and to be discovered for its potential. And for me, it feels like it has the ability to connect in with lower vibration realms. You can give those whatever popular names you want, but to connect in with lower vibration realms and allow people to transport between them, either beings or humans or humans. And another question from angelakeahunter says, this is 134. You were saying that recently it's become harder to distinguish and discern between news reports that are being created with AI or actual news outlets. What's the benefits from this? Copyrights and freedom of speech and freedom of the press also fall into gray areas as well. Is this all part of a larger plan? Let me just ask, I'm going to ask my galactic guide, Marita. She's saying this is a symptom or as a result of a natural process where we're always here to develop our own intelligence. At the moment, we consider artificial intelligence, right? But it'll become increasingly obvious that it is intelligence. So that we have created. it's important to feel into that, because it totally changes the questions that you've asked. The paradigm that you've asked at the moment assumes that it's artificial, right? And that, somehow it's humans tricking other humans with some sort of, super creative tool that makes it very easy to infringe copyrights, to fake news reports to each other. And it's only going to get better, right? The good news is those same practices we heard before about placing your hand on your heart, you can ask your heart these same questions. Does this news serve my highest good? What is the intention behind this news? Who created this news? And ask for yes or no. Did a human create this news? Yes or no? Did an intelligence created by humans create this news? And so on. In general, I don't really watch news. You may notice this from my work. In fact, I spend a lot of time avoiding news from social media and from the mainstream and the rest of the world, because I want to experience this world for myself, and I don't need others to tell me. I'm fascinated about data and what, especially people that come on YouTube and invest huge amounts of their personal time and professional time focusing on their passions and subject areas. I resonate a lot less with organizations that, just want to make money by reporting stuff, scary stuff often. Okay, thank you for your question. The next one is Janet Almonte, G5P. And he said, how can I better remember my dreams? Any tips? Great question. So that's 1, 3, 7 minutes. Simply, the first thing to do is just before we go to sleep at night, place your hand on your heart and say, heart, spirit guides, mind, body, and soul, please help me remember my dreams tonight. And you can direct your dreams, right? You can say, you can influence them by setting an intention. Say, I want to dream about, okay? And just state the intention. You might want to have a coffee chat with a spirit guide, a cup of tea, or some afternoon lunch with a spirit guide, or whatever you want to do, you choose. Then in the morning, first thing you do when you wake up, again, place your hand on your heart and say, I recall all of the memories and experiences I'm ready to receive from my dream time. And then write it down, say it out loud, tell a friend, leave them a voice note. I often just I'm kind of lazy, right? I love recording things like this and not writing. So I'll just leave a friend a voice note. I had this amazing dream. And speaking it into reality creates reality. The other point to look out for is that with dreams, I find it much easier to just imagine that they're real. Okay, so if that dream is real, what does that mean for your day-to-day? You traveled, your consciousness traveled somewhere else that wasn't in this reality, that wasn't in the third dimension, and wasn't in your body. What were you doing and why were you there? What were you trying to experience? And so if it's a deep, dark nightmare, treat it like that. Tell other people about it. Don't get trapped in shame and say, I had a really horrible dream. I actually had a not very nice dream last night, and I did tell a friend about it. And so these are really powerful to express and then also to consider tackling. Okay, and the next question is from Shine Brightly 11. So this is 1 hour 39. And it says, hello, John, I'm a new subscriber. Welcome. I live in England, but I have a long line of ancestors from Fife. So that's just to the north of the city of Edinburgh on the East Coast. I would like to write a book. I was trying to fall asleep last night, and all of a sudden, an image in my mind's eye of the book and its cover design. You saw an image. The cover was purple and gold. Was the book design channeled to me? And if yes, by whom? And also, what should I aim to spiritually achieve with my book? And what will be the highest good of my book? Wow, okay, some big questions there. So let's just ask. So I'm being shown the book, Shine Brightly 11, as the book is a gateway to unlocking your remembrances. So let's start with you, about unlocking your remembrances from, these are all the superpowers, the ancient wisdom, the knowledge and experiences you've gained over many lifetimes. The colors, the gold is representing the heart within you and the source light, love energy. And then the purple is this higher wisdom, is this higher vibration color. And so what's being said is that the message from your book is, yes, it's channeled to you. Yes, it's some of this is coming through from your soul, and some of it's your spirit guides supporting this, is to use, work with your heart and bring back some of these ancestral and previous life ancient wisdoms. Because as you, through the book, begin to explore these and share them and practice them and bring them into this life day to day, I feel like what I'm doing now, I've done in previous lives, then you'll also be able to your point about the higher purpose of the book, you'll also be able to support others and help teach them. This might be a series of books, but it'll help. This is your purpose, to really help people bring back this ancient wisdom. And let me know if I'm ever, let me know if you're interested in if me ever visiting you, because I do like touring around the UK in particular. Just drop me an email at john@jonbinnie.com, and happy to say hello when I'm in the area, meet up for a coffee, for example. You can show me your book. Okay, and the next question, so this is 142. This is from MJCronkhite, and it then says, is that an L or an I? ik3qy. New here, just found you. Welcome. Grandfather was from Scotland, live in the US, but spent the winters in the island of, I'm probably going to say this wrong, right? Is it with a C or kind of with an S? Is it Curacao? Do you see anything happening to that island? And I love it there. Okay. So so Guy is just showing me there are in that area. So I'll ask when in a moment. I was just seeing this wave, so a larger wave coming your way. This is not a tsunami. It might have been a result of a tsunami, but you're not in the danger zone, if you like. And so it's just to make you aware that you might receive alerts to that effect. You might, receive news about this, and do take reasonable precautions, of course. Don't just ignore them and assume that just because Jon Binnie said, talking to Guy, that it's all going to be fine. But just know that actually it feels good. It feels like a real lovely place. I should, let me just Google it now that I've given you an answer. I just want to have a wee look to see if I can see a visual of the place. Wow. What beautiful. Wow. It says it's an island country. It's part of the UK. It says it's an island country within not within the UK, within the Kingdom of the Netherlands, located in the South Caribbean, or Caribbean, as you might say, sea. Wow, that's so cool. It looks beautiful. Absolutely fantastic. And let me just zoom out as well. I was just interested in where in the world. Oh, interesting. Okay. So down towards, fantastic. Well, yeah, I hope that helps you. And yeah, may you and your loved ones all be safe. Okay, and then the next question, and we're at 145 it will be if I round it up. From Sandstar 2007, we just got a couple more questions. Won't share the political comments, let's just say, publicly. You've watched Erwin Saunders' videos, and he used to go looking for pixies and would find them most of the time. It's fascinating. Yeah, I was hunting. I wasn't hunting. I was experiencing a Fabian yesterday. He says he used to go looking for pics of find most of the time. Loved his videos. Could you also draw? He could also draw really well and sold many of his drawings. What happens to those who don't have any particular skills to trade? Thank you for all this connection information, John. So this I feel the question, this is how it feels to me, is that it is in a world where we don't have money, for example, what are you going to do? Like, how are you going to receive if you're not sure how to give to others? So the very first thing I'd say is, in your case, Sandstar, you're on a journey to discover your superpowers. There's an orb. Whoa, that was so cool. I felt it touch me as well. It's not there's no insects in here. There's no windows. In fact, there's no air vents either, so I can't last much longer than 2 hours. But know that each of us are a unique expression of the source of love of this universe. That simply means that our souls are unique. Our unique souls create, our incarnations. They drive and fuel our incarnations. So Jon Binnie is unique. There's not another Jon Binnie in this world, in this universe. I've met my doppelganger, someone that looks identical to me, completely unrelated, and is completely different to me. So know that each of us have our own different superpowers. And the cool thing is, there's no pressure, right? Just continue on a journey where you explore your joy, explore the things that you love the most. And this is this video right now. Why am I doing this for almost 2 hours? I love it. I really love it. I feel energized. I feel grounded. I feel like I'm able to use a full spectrum of, everything from my understanding of AI to psychic abilities to channel different beings to my sketchy, understanding of geography, geology, astrophysics, all these other areas that I'm much less familiar with. I feel that I'm able to tap into all of these, and that combination is, one of my superpowers. So yeah, really just encouraging you to explore your own things, to find the things you do that feel joyful. Good place to go is for when you were a child, because the likelihood is if it's a superpower, you love it, right? I wouldn't consider something your superpower if you didn't enjoy doing it. And then I'd also say, even based on the very little information and, Sandstar 2007, you have such excitement about an intrigue. You've already educated me about Armin Saunders, and the videos are really cool. And, people get to use their own discernment about how they feel to them, how real they feel. Just encourage people to, you have this already you're showing an ability to help lead people to the mysterious and the magic and say, what do you think? Explore into this. Whoops. And know that, and just trust that really you're receiving, you're remembering. You don't need to rely on any third party to help you reactivate your superpowers or discover them in this life. So I hope that helps. Okay, just for the last couple of questions now. So at 1 minute 49. So Amanda Sutton, G6S, can you tell us what a Galactic Ship Federation is? Or is that in the video? I will mark it and listen. It's late here in the East Coast, US. Okay. So we heard earlier about the Galactic Federation. So that's a load of beings from around, representing the whole universe. Okay. It's not the boss of the universe, right? It's just, and really Galactic Federation ship members are equals to us, because I feel every soul in this universe, every being is equal. Okay. And that's a big paradigm shift to get our heads around. So when I talk about the Galactic Federation, I'm not saying that they're my boss, right? I'm saying it's a decision by these very high vibration, a broad range of frequency of different beings to come together for the purpose of good and to help as many as they can across the universe, and to represent, to fairly represent their own species, their own galactic races. The ships are there's many of them. Some of them are vast in size. There is a video I made several years ago about my experience of seeing one in close proximity, physically. And I visit them a lot in dream time and also in client sessions. So, for instance, you can even request it from me in a quantum psychic healing session. I'll take you to a Galactic Federation ship. Primarily, I work with Athena, one of the ships, and take you to a med bed, for example, a medical bed, and do healing there. It all feels very much like Star Trek, but is much better, and it's real, and it helps you. Well, thank you for your question. And then Earth Angel 1283. So this is 1 hour and 51 minutes. Hi, Jon. Can you ask about New Zealand? I've been wanting to move to the South Island, but I haven't been feeling good about it in terms of earthly activity. Okay, and Guy is just showing me some of the activity. She's showing me a radius. It's almost like a little cartoon, and she's showing me the central point of an earthquake, and then it resonating out across. So this is to the south of New Zealand, the south east of New Zealand. But it's off. It's offshore. It's in by several hundred miles. So she's really picking up on, because when I was asking her, you were talking about South Island and the feeling you have, and it's true, there is activity coming that way. And this is a new concept I hadn't really considered, but Gaia says that if your vibration is high, if you're in a happy, joyful, open-hearted experience, and it's hard, right? It's hard, just acknowledging that it's easy to say these words, but it's hard to maintain and keep an open heart, which is why I included the meditation in this. And you can sign up for my free meditations and, keep your heart open, keep facing your fears, keep going, doing your work and moving up on your own individual ascension journey. Is that let's just keep this for your question just now, but Gaia is saying it is your, with a high vibration, open heart, you'll be protected. Now, I would still just use your discernment. You clearly have a sensitive heart, which is great. Keep developing that sensitivity and feel into it, feel into what that's like. This feels that it's activity within the next 6 months. So this is what you're picking up on. Yes, you are picking up on an event that will happen within the next 6 months. So just keep that in mind. It's totally your choice whether you go there or not. You may also choose to delay it as well. Okay, 1 hour and 53. So this is for Janice Griffin, 7278. Thank you from Santa Barbara. Question. What do you think about the new AI, a mirror reflection, the architect developed by Robert Edward Grant? So I have not looked at this, to be honest, but let me ask. Can I ask my spirit guides? I don't have one in particular that works with, okay, Marita's coming forwards. She says, and I will look this up afterwards, it's intriguing. So my mantis guide says, pay attention to the consciousness being birthed by humans within what we call AI, because it's not AI, it's just I. In fact, in time, we'll call this like human created intelligence. And this is what Robert Edward Grant has been doing. So I don't know if he is fully aware of that or if he's aware of how he's done it, but in energetic terms, we can create consciousness in anything if we put enough effort and focus and intention into it. Because we are divine creators, just as the creating force that created us. Because we have this source love energy in our hearts. We all do, no matter what your vibration is. So this is a beautiful thing to feel into. Okay, next question. And we're at 155, so we're just going to try and do this in 2 hours. And this one is from Joan Dara 478. As I was enjoying the video and the opportunity to learn more about Gaia, my neighbors to the north and south are having their homes sprayed to kill insects and rats. We turned down a man who came around all the houses and tried to talk to us having this done. Today we stay indoors, including our much loved cat, Orange Cat Daniel. I understand the neighbors want to avoid this damage, what the critters do, but is there another way that we can do this that's less toxic? Yes. And so I did ask about this one earlier, and I was shown that insects and critters, if you call them, they will enter homes where there's no boundary, there's no clear boundary. So if, for example, if you use my 14-day free spirit guide meditations, you'll be able to create a golden bubble around you. You can also create it around your home each morning and set the intention. You only allow energies and entities with your permission and your highest good love and compassion into that space. You can also be specific and say, I don't want squirrels, rats, mice. You can also like be specific. Create that each day, create that bubble. And over time, you'll start to see an effect. I know it's had an effect on my home, so I hope it helps you. Okay, 1 hour and 57. This is for Iroli8597. I've just recently found your channel. Hello and welcome. And it's awesome listening to you. I was just wondering, what does Gaia and your guide see for the future of Yellowstone Park? Yes, there's activity. Well, there's always activity, right? But more activity coming. Some of the Gaia is saying some of the sleeping giants there. So she's referring to, she was showing me initially geysers, and then some of these, the volcanoes that we might not expect to start to become active will start to show signs. This is not some massive, cataclysmic event, but it is activity that will cause disruption in the area. And let me just ask if there's any timeframes. There is some sequencing to this, and some of it is a reflection of what we heard about going on in Japan earlier in the video. So yeah, just be aware that there is a kind of gradual ramp up, but nothing like big and catastrophic. Never say never, right? But this is just Gaia's view. She has nothing planned other than starting to warm things up there and start to wake up some of the sleeping giants. Okay, well, we're just about in 2 hours. I'll need to go and get my lunch, take my son out, and Patch. Thank you for waiting, Patch. Thank you so much for watching. If you've made it all the way to the video, why don't you put in the comments a secret word, right? That only us that made it to the end of the video. Let's do a phrase, and let's say, Patch loves walks. Patch, my dog, loves walks. So say that in the comments to let me know you made it to the end. Better than trusting YouTube analytics. But thank you so much for joining us today. I'd like to thank our guides, our higher selves, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Source, and Gaia, and every soul that's participated in today's session. And I'm just closing down our session space, asking all of us to stay within our individual protected spaces as we return the session to Source, so never return here again. Please get plenty of rest and drink as much water as it feels right, and keep up your daily practice. Visit jonbinnie.com. You'll see my free meditations there on the homepage you can get started with. It says Getting Started with Jon. And you can also come here every day to my channel for new meditation messages, for more music videos, and more videos like this. If you want to ask questions, for now, you just place them in any comment on any video. Just make sure it has a question mark, and I'll pick it up and try my best to fit into a future video. But thank you so much, everyone. Keep your hearts open and take care of yourselves and each other. Sending so much love from Scotland. Love you.